Often in life, we take for granted what we have and cry, moan, and complain when life does not go our way. We feel sorry for ourselves when bad things happen to us, taking on a victim mentality. We make excuses for our life, not taking any responsibility. We ask, why me? Instead of being mentally strong and saying, try me. But in today's inspirational story, we'll talk about the story of Hansel Enmanuel, the one-armed basketball player, and the young boy who overcame all odds to fulfill his dream of becoming a basketball player. But before we begin, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and the little bell notification on the right, and you'll be notified anytime we have a new video. Let's begin. Hansel Enmanuel was born in the Dominican Republic to Hansel Salvador Donato and Katie Dominguez Perez in 2004 and grew up in Las Minas. Las Minas was one of the poorest places in Santo Domingo and a very dangerous neighborhood. His family was not very wealthy at that point in time, and it was very difficult growing up in such a poor neighborhood. Conditions were extremely harsh for the young boy, and it was easy for the young boy to go down the wrong path in life. But Enmanuel was optimistic, and developing as a young boy, he showed a lot of athletic promise in baseball and basketball. He tried to make the best out of his situation, and he looked up to his father as an idol, Hansel Salvador, who was a well-known Dominican basketball player that introduced him to the sport. Hansel Enmanuel loved playing sports from a very young age, and he had great basketball genes. But one day, a terrible tragedy would strike that would change his life forever. At the age of 6 years old, on a very unlucky day, a wall fell down on his arm and trapped him there for 2 hours. You have to imagine the amount of pain he was in at only 6 years old. He was screaming in pain. Someone eventually heard the young boy crying and rushed in to help. He was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately, too much time had passed, and the hospital had to amputate his arm. He was only 6 years old, so imagine how difficult the news was for him. Something that would change his life forever. Enmanuel's father, upon finding out, quoted, "My life fell apart when Hansel's accident happened. I was the one with him, and when they had to amputate his arm, I felt like it was all over." And Enmanuel was equally devastated at first. He quoted, "Daddy, how do I do this? Daddy, what will happen when I grow up and have no arm?" His mother, holding back tears, quoted, "I can't tell you anything else, only that God has a purpose with Enmanuel." Now, fortunately, despite this devastating incident, the story does have a happy ending. After the accident, a lot of us would have sat at home crying, feeling sorry for ourselves, but Enmanuel was not that type of person. He was determined to make the best of his situation. In fact, later upon reflecting on the accident, he quoted, "God always has a purpose. I am living his mission, what he wants me to do in this life. Everything I do it with God first and for my family. They are everything to me." He did not consider the loss of his arm as a regrettable situation, but as a blessing. And he started practicing basketball again, practicing very hard every single day. He used his pain as motivation to get better. Now, he wasn't very good in the beginning, as it was difficult to only play basketball with one arm from a young age, but he would make up for his disadvantages with hard work and really understanding his strengths and weaknesses. Fast forward 10 years. By the age of 16, Hansel Enmanuel would make a name for himself in Dominican Republic and gain recognition, and was interviewed on a popular show in the Dominican Republic. He was always a local hero at that point, but he knew he had bigger dreams. He moved to the US in early 2021 with his family after receiving a scholarship to play at Life Christian Academy in Kissimmee, Florida. Now, Enmanuel faced another factor of difficulty upon moving to the US, and that was learning English and getting acclimated to American culture. But within just weeks of his arrival, he started making a name for himself. Now, most people would expect a one-armed basketball player, no matter how good he was, to average maybe a few points a game, a few rebounds, just an average player. They expected that he might be somewhat good. But what happened next, no one saw coming. Hansel Enmanuel started completely dominating high school basketball competition. His game was incredible. He was averaging 30 points a game with one arm, and often looked like the best player on the court despite his disadvantages. The footage of some of his basketball play is utterly outstanding. Take a look for yourself. You would not believe he only had one arm. He is often the best basketball player on the floor. Some people think that if he had two arms, he could be one of the top-rated prospects for the NBA. But his coach quoted, "This might be one of his greatest gifts. Sometimes we don't look at it as a blessing. We never know what he would have been if he had both limbs." In a game against Mikey Williams, one of the top-rated prospects in high school, one of the top AAU games of 2021, Hansel Enmanuel held his own, scoring 26 points to Mikey's 20 points.
Hansel was breaking out of double teams
with only one hand. These are against some of the top high school basketball prospects out there. And despite his success on the court, Hansel remains a very humble and respectable person off the court. His Instagram account is filled with highlights and words of inspiration or encouragement. One of his quotes quoted, "The more difficult the obtaining, the easier the path will be." Hansel has an extremely positive attitude and impact on his teammates, inspiring his peers, coaches, and other athletes all together. Brandon Jenkins, scout for 24/7 Sports, quoted, "It's a testament to his work ethic and how good he is and special he is. I think there's always room to grow, and the sky's the limit for a kid like him. In terms of what's next for him, he has his sights on college-level basketball and eventually professional basketball." Of course, there are doubters and haters who don't think that he can succeed at the next level. But look at all the obstacles and challenges that Hansel has already overcome. He grew up in one of the poorest neighborhoods in Dominican Republic, filled with crime and bad influences. And a terrifying accident at the age of 6 would have caused most to give up on their dreams. But Hansel didn't give up. He worked even harder to pursue his dream of becoming a basketball player. The first part of his dream of coming to the US to play basketball has already been achieved, and he has sights next to play college basketball and then professional basketball. He wants to be known as one of the best basketball players ever. In fact, when his disability is mentioned, he doesn't want to even talk about it. He wants to be compared on an even level playing field as his peers. Whatever happens next for Hansel Enmanuel, he is already a champion. What does the inspirational story of Hansel Enmanuel teach us about life? We will all face obstacles in life. No matter if we are rich or poor, it is inevitable that life will throw curveballs at us. Sometimes, we cannot control what happens to us. We cannot control misfortune. We don't know why bad things happen to us at that time. The only thing we can control is how we respond to life's challenges. We can choose to give up and cry, or work even harder towards our dreams, to achieve the impossible. No matter if others laugh at us or say it can't be done, the only thing that matters is how we respond. And to prove them wrong, the choice is up to us. It is always up to us. The responsibility is ours. So, don't give up. I hope you enjoyed this video on Hansel Enmanuel. Our channel focuses on inspirational and motivational stories to help you achieve your daily 1% improvement. If you enjoyed this video, please support us by subscribing, hitting the like button and the little bell notification on the right, and you'll be notified anytime we have a new video. What has the story of Hansel Enmanuel taught you about life? Drop a message below in the comment section. Until then, see you next time. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification to the right.